Another day, another pawntakespawn.com/TV Easter egg. As you can see, they added another tape down here in the bottom right-hand corner called What You're Made Of. On top of this, by the end of it, we got these two new pages that give us information about the Black Ops Cold War campaign and some of its characters. First of all, you may notice that this character looks a little bit familiar, but his name isn't what you think. It's Robert Aldrich. That is what we're going to dive into later in this video. But I thought first, I might as well show you exactly how we got here. So first things first, let's take a look at the tape that was added to Pawn Takes Pawn.
You've been playing along quite nicely, though we're not here to be nice. Soon we'll see what you're made of, what you know, how you think. The reflexes under pressure, hard judgment calls in the heat of battle. Decisions that could mean the difference between being killed or staying alive to see your family again.
A choice that my father got wrong.
So an interesting statement, staying alive to see your family again, a decision that his father did not make correctly. Immediately, two people come to mind. Of course, you have Viktor Zakhaev and Imran Zakhaev. That really doesn't make sense with the whole Black Ops Cold War thing. The one that does is David Mason and Alex Mason. As we know in Black Ops 2, David Mason's father, Alex Mason, gets shot by Frank Woods and is gone for the rest of David Mason's life. This is obviously the first thing that comes to mind here. So the question is David Mason the one making these recordings? Now, the next thing here that is added is once again with the piece of paper here. Basically, it says, the stakes are high in this game we play, the world as the chessboard, where the hunter becomes the hunted, turn after turn, one skirmish after another. Which then gives us a bunch of instructions, which tells you to go and check your inbox. And lo and behold, in your email, you get an email from pawntakespawn.com with an encryption sequence and a bunch of instructions, which take us to another website that is called pawntakespawn.com/deepcover. Essentially, what you need to do here is call this number, put in your access code, and then follow this map. Essentially, this is the entrance. From here, you go to the first magenta thing. In a straight line, you go down to the next one, over to the next one, and follow this sequence. You then line that up with this here, and this takes us to our next website, which is this one here called pawntakespawn.com/bestlaidplans. Now, there's a couple of interesting things on this website. First of all, these transmissions that we have here are two different missions from Call of Duty Black Ops 1. The first of which is the one where Hudson and Weaver go and interrogate Dr. Daniel Clark in Kowloon City. The second one that we have here is a mission from Vietnam. But really, the things that you're going to look at here are, first of all, this Metro Pass, and then this postcard from Miami. Obviously, both of these are hinting at maps from the Black Ops Cold War beta. As you can see down in the bottom right, this takes us to pawntakespawn.com/insert-coin. So here we have some things that we have to put in codes for. So the first one here says, name the game. Identify the arcade cabinet in the Cayman. So there is an arcade cabinet on the map Miami, and the name of this one here is Fishing Derby. Once you know that, you enter it, and it takes you to another website. This one is a lot more difficult. It says, I see that you have received my postcard. Follow the timeline and we'll be in touch soon. It says, decode the message in the visitor center. So you then have to go to the visitor center in Miami. Now, after you do this, you have to use the postcard and line it up with the postcards on the actual map. And then when you do so, it gives you HT lingual chaos. So when you do this, you're going to get two achievements. First of all, set in the West and two tribes. This takes us to this website that you were seeing here and that I showed you before. And we're going to dive into exactly what this page means in a second. And it is huge for the story. It's what the title of this video is based off of. We do, however, have another puzzle here, the Metro puzzle. So essentially what this one gives you is a bunch of different Metro lines, which each stop is equaling a letter. It then tells you down here to start by finding the full Metro map on Moscow. So I've edited this on Photoshop, obviously, but basically you take these instructions and then you go to Moscow and get the actual Metro map. You take it and then you line it up, and then you take the instructions and then you follow the different Metro lines. And what this ends up getting you is /funambulist. So you go to pawntakespawn.com/funambulist, and then it gives you another puzzle. This one is a chess puzzle. So from here, you need to go to Moscow and actually get the image of the chessboard on the map. You take the positionings of all of the different chess pieces and place them onto the board. So as you're seeing, that's what I did here. I recorded the different pieces onto the map, and then you have to figure out what are the possible moves for each one of them. I'm not going to go through all of that, but essentially this ends up giving you a code. So the code that you get from that is called pseudo sacrifice, and when you type that in, it takes us to pawntakespawn.com/rise in the east. Now, a combination of these two pages paints us a pretty big picture for the story moving forward for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. But the biggest one is what we have right here. The first one that we have here is a piece of intelligence from the CIA looking at a subject by the name of Robert Aldrich. Now, we're going to dive into that in a second, but off to the right, there is some Russian writing over here, and what it says is, operating in the United States, operators accepted American guys. And basically what that's saying is an American disguise. More information on approach, Aldrich. So this is written in Russian to some sort of government from Aldrich. Now, this piece of paper over here on the left is the CIA tracking Robert Aldrich on the events that he is doing in Miami. As you can see at the top here, Miami, Florida. It says record of activities. 1400 to 1700 hours. Aldrich arrives in the lobby of the Paramore, which is, of course, the hotel on the map Miami. Checked in and went directly to his room. No incoming or outgoing phone calls were detected during this time. 1715 to 1745. Aldrich exited room and walked to nearby visitors center. He spent the majority of his time there reading a wall display. Analysis of the board after he left the center showed signs of tampering. So remember how we were looking at the postcards on the wall at the visitor center in Miami for one of the puzzles? That was redesigned by Robert Aldrich. Now, 1745 to 1755, Aldrich walked to the Cayman, a restaurant near the Paramore. He was not observed leaving any packages or interacting with other people. 1755 to 1920. Aldrich arrived at the Cayman and put down his name for a table. While he waited for his name to be called, he played the video game inside the restaurant. Remember how we had to put the video game name called Fishing Derby inside the other puzzle? Once again, he was playing that. Essentially, the rest is just him returning back to his hotel. Now, I want you to take a really good look at this picture and then look at the name Robert Aldrich. This, I think, is a code name with the initials RA. Who do we know by the name of RA other than Russell Adler, one of the main characters within Black Ops Cold War. Now, at the time, it appears as though Robert Aldrich is younger. He is being surveilled by the CIA, telling us that at one point, Robert Aldrich worked for the Russian government. In other words, Russell Adler, before working for the CIA, seemingly worked for the Russian government before he had the scars on his face and before any of this happened. To me, I think this is something that we are definitely going to find out more come the launch of the game. But I think it's pretty safe to say that Robert Aldrich is actually Russell Adler. Now, at the bottom down here on the green piece of paper, it says, from Moscow to Miami, enemies plot infiltrating, assimilating, building their network, waiting for their time to strike. So appearingly, at one time or another, Robert Aldrich was a threat to the CIA before he worked for them. Now, how that transition happened, we don't know, but there is more to learn here. So this one, Rise in the East, is basically all in Russian, except for the names down here. Now, I translated this over here, and here is what it says. It says, I have successfully used our contracts in Western Europe to place another group of agents in their halls of power. Soon we will reap the rewards. So essentially, what this is saying is that Russia has placed a bunch of double agents inside the government of Eastern Europe. So, in other words, these agents are Alana Miller, Harvey Spray, Aaron Lee, Kelvin Dunn, Leslie Sinclair, Alex Supertree, Jim Krieger, and finally Claire Koberstein. Now, this is known as Operation Red Circus. In other words, putting Russian operatives into the European government. Now, there wasn't much more I could take out of this. I tried translating some of this, and basically it just seems like an operator file for whoever this is. I thought at first it might be Perseus, but it didn't really translate properly. So as of right now, I don't know who this is. If you have any ideas, feel free to let me know. Or if you speak Russian, you might be able to read this, and you can let us know what this says down in the comments. But as of right now, I don't know what this is. For now, the big takeaway and the big question on my mind is I want to know more about Robert Aldrich, or how this compares to Russell Adler. Now, the one other takeaway to this is by completing this Easter egg, Activision actually has decided to extend the beta for one more day. In other words, it's going to go until Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is oddly exactly when the Haunting of Verdansk is set to start in Modern Warfare. So, that is all we have for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I know it probably wasn't what you were expecting or where you thought this was going today, but here we are. We learned a bit about Robert Aldrich, or Russell Adler, depending on what you want to call him. But that's pretty much that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it's always appreciated if you hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. Let me know what you think of all of this down in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, peace out.
Listen.